Okay, good morning, guys. Today is Monday, May 11th. So, good morning for those who are checking in today. All right, a few minutes here for some people to check in. Looks like got somebody here. Good morning. Hi, Kyle. How are you? Hello. Got a couple more people checking on in. Welcome to another segment, Monday morning, May 11th here. Good morning, Chris. How are you? Chris and Kyle. Hope you guys had nice weekends. All right, a few more people checking in. Excellent. Vero, how are you too? Good to see you as well. All right, so Vero, Chris, Kyle so far. Hi, Talon. Hi, Jasmine. All right, we've got some people checking in. We're going to be talking about the muscular system. Hopefully, you guys had a chance. Hello, looks like we got Alex in here too. If you had a chance to watch the video, did you watch our muscular system video Mr. Candle and I put together? Okay, hi Mia, how are you? All right, hopefully you had a chance to watch the video. It's about 4 minutes. If you could, if you didn't, it's on the Teams page. Go under the Teams page, find it there. All right, hopefully you got a little kick out of it. Watch some of our bloopers towards the end there too when we were in the gym working out the other day. So we put a new video up on the muscular system. All right. All right, excellent. So good job. Hopefully you guys had a chance to see that. So I'm going to talk about the muscular system for today. And then your project's a pretty easy one this week. We're not, grades are going to be due, wrapping up by the end of this week. So this is the last grade I'm collecting from you. But we'll still be doing meeting onlines and stuff like that over the next few weeks. But since grades are coming up here, I just want to make sure you guys are getting your grade, all your assignments in. And if you're missing any, to communicate that with me if you see that missing in Power Schools to get something turned in. So you will not have a brain pop this week, so there's no brain pop. Brain pops will be done. Last week wouldn't be one on the nervous system. That would be the last brain pop. This week you'll be doing, instead of a research paper on a muscular system disease, which there's not too many of them, you're going to compare and contrast a couple different forms of types of muscles using like a Venn diagram, which you mentioned in the video. So that's what you're going to be doing and sending that in to us as your assignment this week, and I'll explain that a little bit later. So I want to kind of, I want you to watch the video and then pay attention to some of the things I'll be talking about today on the muscular system itself. And I will talk about some muscular system diseases later this week, just to, on Wednesday, because we only meet Mondays and Wednesdays on here. So I will talk about that. So let me get started with the muscular system. You can kind of pay attention, some of the parts of the muscular system. So what is the muscular system? Can someone tell me in their own words, what is the muscular system? You can write it in the chat bar at the bottom there. What is the muscular system? All right. I'm not answering those questions right now, Chris, about school and how many weeks we have left here. So I'll ask that at the end. I'm starting a lesson right now, so hold those questions right now. All right. Hi, Sam. Looks like Sam checked in here too. So how are you as well? So make sure if you can answer the question on what is the muscular system in your own words, how would you describe it? You can write it in your task bar there. What is the muscular system? What is the muscular system? I'm holding all questions about the project till the very end. I'm going to cover the stuff that you need to know first, and I'll talk about what you're doing at the end. Okay? So who could tell me about the muscular system? What is it? What do you put in your own words? What do you think the muscular system is? You can give me an answer on what is the muscular system in your own words. Okay, very good. Val, give an answer there. All right, excellent. All right, Val says it's a system of muscles. Very good. It is a system of muscles. Very good. All right, so the muscular system is a complex collection of tissues, each with different purposes. So understanding the components of the muscular system includes various types of connective tissues is a good way to understand how our bodies move for physical movement and work. Okay, so it's a complex collection of tissues and muscles. Okay, so here's some of the main functions. So note some of these ones down. You could include this with your project here. If you don't know what to do, I'll talk about that at the very end. You could also watch the video, what Mr. Canelo and I describe at the very end for your project, but I'll talk about it after I'm done covering some of the main points here you need to know on the muscular system. So some of the functions, it's for body movement and locomotion. Okay, it maintains your posture, standing up straight. It helps for respiration, for breathing. Okay. Communication from verbal to facial. Okay. Moving your mouth. Okay. In your face, facial expressions, communication, verbal. There's hundreds of muscles in your face. Um, Constriction of organs and vessels as well, along with heartbeat. It helps because heartbeat is a muscle there too. Your heart is a muscle, so it does help with heartbeat. And it also has a production of body heat too for the muscles provide production of body heat as well. Okay. All right, excellent. So those are some of the main functions of the muscular system. Now the properties of muscles. There's a couple different properties of muscles. One called excitability. What that means is the capacity of muscle to respond to a stimulus. Okay, like kind of like um, re, 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 like flexing an arm, a muscle like that would be an excitability, respond to a stimulus. All right, or to a movement to get away from something, respond to it. Uses muscles to move away from something. Contractibility is ability to muscle to shorten and generate pulling force. That would be more so flexing the muscle than excitability. Excitability would be to actually move away from something. Extendability is a muscle that can be stretched back to its original length, and elasticity is ability for the muscle to recoil to or to the origin resting length after it was being stretched. Okay, because we do a lot of stretches right before we work out. Like how many times you guys do that in PE class? Stretch your legs, stretch your arms, to get them loose, get them moving. So with Coach Smith and Coach Henry out there, you guys are doing stretches before you run laps or do any like jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups, those types of things. Okay. All right. So those are some of the properties: contractibility, excitability, extensibility, and elasticity. Okay. Now we mentioned in a video there's three types of muscles. These are the very main important parts here. Three types of muscles. I'm going to go over each one of these here. Take some notes down on these, okay, and or research these ones here, because this is going to help you for your Venn diagram project. Because remember, you're comparing and contrasting the muscles. You're not doing a research there. So pay attention to some of these ones here as I go over them. The first type I'm talking about is one called skeletal muscles. Skeletal muscles are attached to your bone, okay, like your arm bone. It makes up about 40% of your body weight. Okay, so think about them attached to your tendons as you move, like your knee, like flexing or jogging, bending your knee. Same with flexing your arm. Those are going to be ones that attach to the bone. They are responsible for locomotion, which means movement. Okay, the skeletal muscles. They also help for facial expressions. Okay, smiling, frowning, those types of things there too. All right, and they also help for your posture, standing up straight, and respiratory movements, breathing, okay, your skeletal muscles, and other types of body movements. So they are voluntary in action, and they're controlled by somatic motor neurons, which we studied last week. What a neuron was a nerve cell. Okay, so these are voluntary as well. All right, now your food now. Because voluntary means that you have to think to do these types of things, okay, for movement, to get up and make these faces and stuff like that. So they have to have some kind of control to it. Now, the smooth muscles are the next ones here, okay? All right. And the smooth muscles are in the walls of hollow organs like blood vessels, eyes, glands, skin. So some functions for these would be to mix food in the digestive tract, okay, dilating and constricting your pupils, regulating blood flow, storage of urine as well too, okay, in the body. So this would be some smooth muscle muscle cells. Now, like I said, these are in the walls of hollow organs, blood vessels, eyes, glands, and skin. Okay, all right. In some locations, they're autorhythmic. Okay, and they're controlled involuntary. You don't think about them. Okay, by the endocrine or autonomic nervous system. Okay, so they're involuntary, where They're not thought of there. Okay. All right. They just do it automatically. Any questions so far? All right. Good. All right. Moving on. All right, Bell, keep the and Chris conversations. If you have questions, ask me, not amongst each other there. All right, cardiac muscle cells are the heart. Think about your heart muscles. The cardiac muscle is your heart. Remember, we studied the circulatory system, cardiovascular system. So cardiac means heart. So the heart is a major source of blood movement. So it's autorhythmic and it's controlled involuntary. We don't even think our heart pumps and our heart beats. So that's something we don't think about what's happening by the endocrine and automatic nervous system as well. Okay, so those are the three types of muscles. I'll go a little bit more into details on some of them. Again, skeletal muscles like your arm, okay, because it's connected to the bone. All right, smooth muscles. For example, your stomach would be a smooth muscle. Okay, so some of the organs. Okay, and your cardiac muscle cells. This is going to be related to your heart. Okay, so those are some of the muscles there. So muscle attachments. Let me go over some things here on muscle attachments. Most skeletal muscles run from one bone to another. So one bone will move, the other bone remains fixed, just like moving your arm, okay, up and down. All right, so the origin, less movable attachment. The insertion is more movable attachment. Okay, so that's going to be skeletal muscle attachments, how they are used for movement there. All right, so continuing with muscle attachments, there are muscles attached to the origin and insertions by what they call connective tissue, okay, which is important to know there too, connective tissue. So these are fleshy attachments of connective tissue fibers, which are short, and the connective tissues form tendons as well. All right. So the bone markings present where tendons meet bones would be areas around the crests and stuff like that of the bone. Okay. All right. Now, some other parts of the skeletal muscle structures are composed of muscle cell fibers, okay? Connective tissue, blood vessels, and nerves. So fibers are long, cylindrical, okay? So they're kind of long within the skeletal muscles. So they tend to be smaller diameter in small muscles and larger muscles. So from 1 millimeter to about 4 centimeters in length. They develop from what they call myoblasts, which are numbers that remain constant in the bone, okay, or in the muscle, and they're usually striated in appearance. Okay, they have lines between them with striations. Okay, and there's always a nuclei or peripheral located like a nucleus as well too within that cell. All right. Any questions so far? All right, very good. I'm getting through this, almost finished here. So a couple more things to go over here. What they call here, the next part I would just want you to know just as what they call myosin or myofilament. This is the thick parts of the muscle. So many elongated myosin molecules, they actually look like they're shaped kind of like a golf club. Okay, they're long, cylindrical. All right. So the single filament contains roughly about 300 myosin molecules. All right, and these molecules consist of heavy myosin molecules that wound together to form what they call rod portions of the parallel microfilaments. So these are within the muscle itself. Okay, these are some of the small parts built within the muscle. All right, and they help break down what they call ATP for releasing energy in that muscle. So they help break down the energy when you work out. Okay, all right, so, and not going to get to too much detail on those types of proteins. That's the fibrous protein. There's one called troponin. These are some of the proteins inside the muscles there, which help for breaking down, ATP for release of energy. Okay, which we've talked about. All right, the next type of muscle I'm going to talk about. Hi, Peyton. Peyton's in here too, so thanks for checking in. Is one called smooth muscle. Okay, I mentioned that one earlier. That was the ones kind of like found in our organs there. All right, so these cells are not striated like skeletal cells. The fibers are smaller than the skeletal muscles, and they're like spindle shaped. Okay, so they're single shaped. So there's a central nucleus. They have more actin than myosin. These are some of the components there. They're not arranged symmetrically as in the skeletal muscles, so there's no striations like I mentioned. They have dense bodies, but they have intermediate filaments within those muscles there too for the smooth muscles. Okay. All right. All right. So they're grouped into sheets of walls of hollow organs as well. So they have a longitudinal layer. That means the muscle fibers run parallel to the organ's long axis, and they also have a circular layer of muscle fibers that run along the circumference of the organ. So they both participate in what they call peristalsis. Peristalsis, and we learned about that as well too. All right, and that was how things get pushed through. Okay. All right, because of like the muscles from the organs, they push that, like kind of like the esophagus and stuff like that for swallowing, and the stomach pushing through. Okay. All right, and the last one I'm going to talk about is called cardiac muscle cells. Okay, and that's around the heart. So it's found only in the heart, where it forms thick layers called the myocardium. Remember, we studied the heart, and there was an area called the myocardium. So they're striated fibers that branch from it, and each cell usually has one centrally located nucleus, and the fibers joined by what they call intercalated discs. Okay, all right, and they allow excitability in the fiber. Remember, I was talking about that. The response to stimulus to spread quickly to the adjoining fibers. So they also have some hormones under this area here. So under control, what they call ANS, which is involuntary and endocrine system hormones. That's how that they would be used for movement, because it's an autorhythmic type of muscle cell. So meaning that it gets a response from involuntary from the heart, because it's constantly moving or pumping. So the fibers spontaneously contract. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? So those are the three types of cells: cardiac muscle cells, smooth muscle cells, and skeletal muscle cells. Okay, so those are the three. All right. All right, I'm glad you liked that, Peyton. To try to make that little entertaining for you guys there too. So very good. So now for your project part of this, okay, since I covered some things on muscle cells, there's not a whole lot on muscle cells other than these three parts. All right, you are to research these three types, okay? And I'm going to put these down here so you can see them. All right, they are from the video. All right, skeletal muscle cells. Okay, is one. You're comparing and contrasting and making a Venn diagram and sending that in, and comparing and contrasting the three types of muscle cells that I mentioned in today on here and from the video we talked about. And you can do your own research on it. So these three here: skeletal muscles, cardiac muscles, and what they call smooth muscles. I'm writing these down. These are three types of muscle cells that you are going to compare and contrast. There's no drawings, there's no diagrams to this this assignment. There's no research on the types of diseases related to this. We're not going to get into that. Okay, so there they are right there, so you can see those. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do a little question and answer with you guys here before I wrap up. So let's make sure you're paying attention here. So some of the parts to this one here. Can somebody tell me on here, what is one function of the muscular system? What does it do? Tell me a function. So what is one function of the muscular system? So if you can answer that, someone could type it in the back in the toolbar. All right, good job, Val. It helps for the body to move. All right, what else? That's one. There was a few other ones here. I gave a pretty good list of them. Helps for movement. Very good. Other than movement, what else? There was about maybe 4 or 5 other ones I mentioned too. See if you were paying attention. What were some of the other functions of the muscular system? Helps for pumping blood. Very good. Looks like Sam said that. All right. So it does help for blood, heartbeat. We can say that. Very good. All right. Same with, looks like Soraya said the same thing. Soraya and Sam, nice job. I don't know what you mean by health there, Peyton. Um, yes, it helps maintain posture. Good job, Val. She mentioned posture. All right. Very good. It maintains posture. So we said body movements, posture, heartbeat, okay, which is blood flow. What else? What are some other ones I mentioned there if you're paying attention for the muscular system? Stabilizing joints. It doesn't really mention much on stabilizing joints, but it does help with the skeletal system, meaning skeletal muscles, because the muscles are attached to the skeleton system or skeletal system. So I could let that one go there too. Something to do with how we breathe. I'm giving you a clue here. Yeah, we can help us make stand up. Okay, that's with posture. Good job, Chris. I'm giving you a clue. Helps us with something we would use for breathing. What do we call that? Because they need oxygen, right? Our muscles need to put out that energy when we're working out, as they need to breathe too, which their cells within our body, which will send messages to where. So where else? Also, it helps with blood vessels. Very good, Chris. All right. Yep, it does help with constriction of organs of blood vessels. But what I was looking for was respiration. It does help for breathing. Okay, what I was looking for there. And it also helps for communication when we're talking, right? Verbally, there's muscles around our face, facial expressions, talking verbally. Okay, muscles are in movement there too. And it also helps for body heat. So there's a lot of functions within the muscular system and what they can do. All right. All right, the next part here, I was talking about properties of muscles. Remember I mentioned these four: excitability, contractibility, extensibility, and elasticity. All right, see how, remember, I'll put these out in the taskbar. I'll ask which one is each here: elasticity, contractibility, okay, there was extensibility, and excitability. All right, so one of these four here. Okay, elasticity, contractibility, extensibility, and excitability. Okay, all right, so I'm going to mention the definition of one of these ones here so you can look in the taskbar and think which one is which here. So this is the ability of a muscle to shorten and generate a pulling force. Okay, pulls towards it, maybe like flexing a bicep. Which one would that be of those four? Ability of a muscle to shorten and generate a pulling force, like coming towards it. Which one would that be? A property of muscle. So would it be elasticity, contractibility, extensibility, or excitability? All right, good job, Chris. It is contractibility. That would be contractibility. All right, this is the capacity of a muscle to respond to a stimulus. So of the rest of the three, what starts with the letter E: excitability, extensibility, elasticity. This is the capacity of a muscle to respond to a stimulus. So think about it responding to something, if it's going to move or not, right? Something, remember, respond to stimulus to its environment, hot, cold. Like the stove example we gave last week with the nervous system pulling your hand away from it. Yeah, elasticity, very, or no, that would be excitability. That's excitability. Good try, Chris. That's going to be excitability, is capacity of the muscles to respond to a stimulus. Think about the muscle itself getting excited, going away from something, or responding to a stimulus in the environment. Okay, all right. Sarai, it looks like you asked about the project. Yeah, you're going to compare the three types of muscles. I put those up there. The three types were cardiac muscle cells, skeletal muscle cells, and smooth muscle cells. You are making a Venn diagram. You know what that is? Comparing and contrasting, putting them in the middle and how they're different on the end. The circles, like those big circles, a Venn diagram. So how they are the same and how are they different, how they relate to one another. You're comparing, contrasting the three types of muscle cells, okay, for the muscular system. All right. Okay, so I have a couple more here. Which one is this? Isn't all right. So we use elasticity, or we use contractibility and excitability. So you only have two left here: extensibility and elasticity. So muscles that could be stretched back to its original length would be what? Muscles that could be stretched back to its original length are what? They could be stretching your leg muscle or your arm muscle back to its original length from maybe that you were seated and then you stretch your leg out. Okay, what would that one be called? All right, that would be called extensibility. That's extensibility. You're extending that leg. And the last one I was going to mention is elasticity, is the ability of the muscles to recoil to original resting length after being stretched. Okay? All right, so those are the four properties of muscles there. You can include those in there. But again, just as a review, skeletal muscles, I'm going to go over this one more time here. Skeletal muscles. All right. These are the three types of muscles. These are things you could be putting in your Venn diagram along with the research you have. Skeletal muscles are attached to bone. They make up about 40% of your body weight. They're responsible for locomotion. Movement is locomotion. Facial expressions, smiling, frowning, okay, making smirks. All right, facial expressions. They help with posture, okay, standing upright. They help for respiratory movements and other types of body movements. They are voluntary in action, so they're controlled by somatic motor neurons, meaning that you have to think to do some of these things. Okay, voluntary, that's what that means. Involuntary, they kind of happen automatically. So the smooth and cardiac muscle cells, those types of muscle movements are involuntary. All right, so smooth muscles, they're found in the halls of hollow organs, okay, like your stomach, gallbladder, those areas. They could be found in blood vessels, your eyes, glands, uterus, okay, skin for urine. So some of their functions is they propel urine, they mix food in the digestive tract, they help for dilating and constricting pupils, okay, your pupils in your eyes. They regulate blood flow throughout the body. In some locations, they're automatic, they're autorhythmic, meaning that they're controlled involuntary, okay, through an autonomic nervous system. All right, so those things, like I said, they're involuntary. And your last one is called the cardiac muscle cells. So their heart is a major source of movement of blood, autorhythmic and controlled involuntary by urine and autonomic nervous system as well. All right. Okay, so those are some of those major ones there. All right. All right. Okay, so I have a couple questions here. Will you be posting the three types of muscles on Teams? Yes, I will be, Mia. So thanks for asking. But you could do that on your own there too. I wrote them down in here, and you could research them on your own. But I will provide that written detail on Microsoft Teams too. Okay. How many things do we need to have in each circle? Well, three muscle cells there, Peyton. Okay, that's the three that we're talking about. Skeletal, smooth, cardiac. Okay, those could be in the middle. Okay, how they're the same, and the things on the outer ends. Okay, how they are different from one another. They're comparing and contrasting them. Yeah. All right. All right, we got that. All right, excellent, guys. Nice job for today. All right. Any other questions that you may have? I will be back on at 1 o'clock today too. Like I said, there's no brain pop this week. There's no research on like a disease relating to the muscular system. There's no drawings to this. You're just comparing and contrasting the three types of muscle cells for this. Okay. All right. All right. Looks like Val has a question here. It says, how many differences and similarities do we need to mention of each? As many as you can. Obviously, the more details you can provide, the better. There in the circle. Yeah. So try to come up with at least maybe 5 to 6, I would say, of each. Okay. 5 to 6. I would shoot for about 6 on each importance there. You can research those. Okay. All right. Okay. Any other questions that you may have here? Okay, got that, Val? Okay, have a good day. I'll be back on at 1 o'clock for today. I believe I do have a meeting here coming up, so we're cutting this a little bit short, but I'll look for my message on Microsoft Teams there too, what to do. Remember, you're making a Venn diagram comparing and contrasting smooth muscles, cardiac muscles, and skeletal muscles. All right, cells. Okay, the three types of muscle cells for the muscular system that we're studying right now. Okay, hopefully you had a chance to watch the video. Mr. Canaloo and I try to make a little funny there of us working out in the gym, so hopefully you had a chance to watch some of that. Okay. Okay, so I am gonna cut out at least. Okay, so I am gonna cut out for right now. So I'll be back on at 1 o'clock. Go over some more things and details here, and some of the similar things I mentioned today, and then look for my message on Microsoft Teams. All right, guys, have a good day. I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, goodbye.